Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, U.S. lists Houthis as terrorists. Yemen's Houthis hit another U.S.-operated ship. U.S. shipping operator Genco confirms attack on Genco Picardy bulk carrier. Medicines for Israeli hostages and aid for civilians enters Gaza via Egypt. Reserve Bank of India governor says Indian economy expected to grow at 7.3% in the current fiscal. In sports, Indian women's hockey team to take on Germany in the semi-final of the FIH Hockey Olympic qualifiers in India's Ranchi. The United States military said its forces carried out strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen on Wednesday. Now, this was the fourth day of U.S. strikes in less than a week. The U.S. military said its forces conducted strikes on 14 Houthi missiles that were loaded to be fired from Yemen. U.S. Central Command said in a statement posted on the social media platform X that the Houthi missiles presented an imminent threat to merchant vessels and U.S. Navy ships in the region. The United States on Wednesday relisted Houthis as terrorists in response to Red Sea attacks. The redesignation of the Houthis as global terrorists is in response to the group's attacks on commercial shipping in the region. U.S. officials said the specially designated global terrorist listing was aimed at cutting off funding and weapons the Houthis have used to attack or hijack the ships. The new designation will also bar people and companies in the U.S. from offering any support to the Houthis.
The Secretary of State announced the designation of the Houthis as a specially designated global terrorist, effective February 16th for threatening the security of the United States. Since November, the Houthis have launched numerous missiles and drones towards international merchant ships, as well as U.S. and partner naval vessels defending the safety and security of commercial shipping across the Red Sea. These attacks against international shipping have endangered mariners and disrupted the free flow of commerce and freedom of navigation. For the past several weeks, the United States, with allies and partners around the world, has made clear that there must be consequences for those attacks. And today's designation follows on our military action last week to hold the Houthis accountable for their actions.
Houthis rebels have targeted a U.S.-owned vessel in the Red Sea on Wednesday after Washington redesignated the group as global terrorists. Houthi rebels said it made a direct hit with missiles on the U.S. Genco Picardy bulk carrier. The attack, which marked the second on the U.S.-linked vessel in the area this week, was confirmed by U.S. shipping operator Genco, which said its vessel was hit by a projectile when it transited the Gulf of Aden with a cargo of phosphate rock. Genco said there were no injuries to the crew and the ship suffered limited damage to its gangway and was on a course out of the area. A shipment of medical supplies meant for Israeli hostages in Gaza and civilians has entered Gaza on Wednesday as part of a deal brokered by Qatar and France. Earlier, 2 Qatari planes arrived in the north of Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, where supplies were unloaded and transferred to the Rafah border crossing with Gaza. One of the planes was carrying medical packages for the hostages captured by Hamas on October 7th. Under the agreement thrashed out on Tuesday, medicines along with humanitarian aid are to be supplied to civilians in Gaza in exchange for delivery drugs needed by the hostages held there. Members of the U.S. Congress held a vigil for hostages held in Gaza. Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, led a vigil on the steps of the U.S. Capitol for those held hostage by Hamas terrorists in Gaza since October 7th last year. Pakistan conducted strikes inside Iran on Thursday, targeting terrorists. Pakistan's foreign ministry said Pakistan carried out a series of highly coordinated military strikes in the Sistan or Baluchistan province of Iran. The ministry, in a statement, said a number of terrorists were killed during the intelligence-based operation. According to Iranian media, several missiles hit a village in the Sistan-Baluchistan province that borders Pakistan, killing 3 women and 4 children, all non-Iranians. Earlier, Iran attacked Israel-linked terrorist bases inside Pakistani territory on Tuesday. Nuclear envoys from the US and South Korea met on Thursday to discuss North Korea amid mounting tension on the Korean peninsula. US Deputy Special Representative for North Korea, Jung Pak, and South Korea's Special Representative for Korean Peninsula Peace and Security Affairs, Kim Gun, participated in a meeting in Seoul. The 2 envoys are scheduled to hold a trilateral meeting with their Japanese counterpart, Hiroyuki Namazu, over North Korea's recent activities, bilateral ties with Russia, and military cooperation later in the day. The talks come a day after North Korean Foreign Minister Ko Sun-hui met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow, and it was amid growing concerns over their deepening relationship. The US and its allies have accused the North of providing arms support to Moscow for use in its war in Ukraine in return for Russia's assistance in Pyongyang's advanced weapons development. China and the Philippines agreed to improve maritime communication and to properly manage conflicts and differences through friendly talks in regards to the issues around the South China Sea. Now, according to a statement from the Chinese Foreign Ministry, China Assistant Foreign Minister Nong Rong and Philippines Foreign Ministry Undersecretary Teresa Lazaro held an in-depth exchange of views on the situation while co-chairing the 8th meeting of the China-Philippines Bilateral Consultation Mechanism on the South China Sea in Shanghai. The 2 countries have had numerous confrontations recently in certain disputed waters in the South China Sea, with both trading acquisitions of provoking conflict in the economically strategic waterway. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has won a key vote on the legislation designed to send some asylum seekers to Rwanda. The opposition Labour Party, however, says it is a gimmick and the legislation still faces parliamentary hurdles. DD India's Oli Barat reports from London.
There's no doubt that this is a victory for Rishi Sunak, the UK Prime Minister. The overall vote on his Rwanda legislation passing through the House of Commons at this stage. But the last 48 hours have seen significant rebellions from some of his own Conservative MPs who wanted that legislation to be, in their view, tougher to try and make sure that the Rwanda scheme can get up and running. It's not a battle that is over yet either. The legislation now goes towards the UK's upper chamber, the House of Lords. We could well see there attempts to amend the legislation from its current form, and so there could well be further parliamentary battles to come before the legislation is completely on the statute books. And that's important for UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak because he wants to see flights to Rwanda, deporting some asylum seekers, up and running in the early part of 2024, and the parliamentary schedule may not allow that. We've also been hearing from the opposition Labour Party who say that this scheme won't work. They say it's a gimmick. They've been pointing to what they say is chaos in the Conservative Party in recent days. The idea of the scheme is that some asylum seekers will be sent to Rwanda to see their claims processed there. The idea is that overall you act as a deterrent and stop some people trying to make often dangerous journeys to the UK in the first place. The government believes it will help bring overall illegal immigration numbers down. As I say, opposition parties dispute that, and the parliamentary battle is not over yet. Oli Barrett in London, reporting for DD India.
Singapore's Transport Minister S. Iswaran has been charged in court over a graft case. Iswaran pleaded not guilty while facing 27 charges, which include obtaining clarification as a public servant, corruption and obstructing the course of justice as per local media. The city-state's Anti-Corruption Bureau started investigating Iswaran since his arrest in July last year, with Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong putting him on a leave of absence and barring him from leaving Singapore. At least 23 people died in an explosion in central Thailand on Wednesday. The cause of the blast that took place in a fireworks factory is still unknown. Rescue workers at the scene said no survivors had been found. Thailand authorities were working to secure the site and help the affected people. Up next are the stories making it to the headlines from across the world. Residents in Iceland's Grindavik are facing relocation woes following a second eruption in less than a month. The head of the Icelandic Meteorological Department told the town's residents on Wednesday that although the volcanic activity has subsided, magma continues to build up underground. Geologists thus advised local residents to move out as soon as possible. The small fishing town has about 3,300 residents. Britain's cyber spies marked the 80th anniversary of the world's first digital code-breaking computer, Colossus, on Thursday. Colossus was developed in the years 1943 to 45 to help in the cryptanalysis to defeat Hitler's Germany, and was so significant that it was kept a secret for decades. As Japan eyes to become the fifth country to put a spacecraft on the moon, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency's Smart Lander for Investigating Moon, also known as Moon Sniper, will attempt a precision landing on Friday. This spacecraft will give a boost to the space program that has suffered a wave of setbacks and has been eclipsed by rival China. SLIM probe will start a 20-minute touchdown phase from 1500 GMT on Friday, and it will try to land on a target site roughly the size of two athletic tracks on the slope of a crater just south of the lunar equator. American hit film Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that featured Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie nearly 2 decades ago, returns to action in a new TV reboot. Co-created by actor and musician Donald Glover and writer Francisca Sloan, the 8-episode series is a reimagining of the iconic married couple of assassins.
Single dose, no casualties.
Have you got any idea when we can expect news?
5 baby monkeys were seized at a checkpoint in northern Chile near Bolivia on Wednesday. The man who was caught with the animals planned to sell them. He was detained by authorities while the monkeys were handed over to the Agricultural and Livestock Service. We're heading for a short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Holy city of Ayodhya witnesses an unprecedented surge in tourists ahead of the consecration ceremony on January 22nd. Stay with us as we get to how people in Ayodhya are gearing up for this welcome change. Not just Ayodhya, but places as far as Mumbai are drenched in the spirit of welcoming Lord Ram. How? We'll tell you ahead. And India and Uzbekistan face each other in their second Group B clash of the AFC Asian Cup.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's get you all the buzz being generated in the build-up to the consecration ceremony of Lord Ram Temple at Ayodhya's holy city of India's holy city of Ayodhya on 22nd of January. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has released commemorative postage stamps on Ayodhya's Ram Temple, along with a book of stamps issued on Lord Ram around the world. The components of the design include the Ram Temple, devotional song, the sun, the Saryu River, and sculptures in and around the temple. There are 6 stamps which include the Ram Temple, Lord Ganesh, Lord Hanuman, some Ramayana characters like Jatayu, Kevatraj, and Shabri. The stamp book is an attempt to showcase the international appeal of Sri Ram on various societies. This 48-page book covers stamps issued by more than 20 countries, including the US, New Zealand, Singapore, Canada, Cambodia, and organizations like the UN.
मुद्रण में अयोध्या से लाई गई मिट्टी का सम्मिश्रण है, सरयू के जल का है और चंदन की जो एक सुगंध है वो भी इसमें से ब्लेंड की गई है स्पेशल तरीके से इसकी प्रिंटिंग है। संयुक्त राष्ट्र के अलावा 20 देश उनके जो रामायण पे आधारित जो उनके डाक टिकट संग्रह हैं उनका एक संकलन आपके अनावरण के लिए आपके द्वारा भी के लिए समर्पित। जो 5 तत्व हैं उनका जल, पृथ्वी, पावक, गगन, समीरा।
Up your screens, we have the visuals of Prime Minister releasing commemorative postage stamps. He's being apprised on the collection of the stamps that has been issued. The stamps are on Ayodhya's Ram Temple. This is in fact a book of stamps issued on Lord Ram around the world. The Prime Minister is being apprised of the components of the book. The book comprises of stamps depicting Ram Temple, a devotional song, the sun, Saryu River, and also sculptures in and around the temple. The Prime Minister is also releasing an edition of Ramayana and also talking to the stamps. The stamps also include Ram Temple, Lord Ganesh, Lord Hanuman, and also some characters from the Ramayana. Extensive arrangements are being made ahead of the grand event on 22nd of January. With regard to that, the Prime Minister released commemorative postage stamps marking the consecration ceremony that will be held on January 26th.
इसके मुद्रण में अयोध्या से लाई गई मिट्टी का सम्मिश्रण है, सरयू के जल का है और चंदन की जो एक सुगंध है वो भी इसमें से ब्लेंड की गई है स्पेशल तरीके से इसकी प्रिंटिंग है। संयुक्त राष्ट्र के अलावा 20 देश उनके जो रामायण पे आधारित जो उनके डाक टिकट संग्रह हैं उनका एक संकलन आपके अनावरण के लिए आपके द्वारा भी के लिए समर्पित।
5 days ahead of the consecration ceremony, the Prime Minister there releasing commemorative postage stamps. As we told you, there are 6 stamps which include Ram Temple, Lord Ganesh, Lord Hanuman, Jatayu, Kevatraj, and Ma Shabri. The gold leaf of the sun rays and the chaupai lend a majestic icon to this miniature sheet. There are 5 physical elements when we talk of the components, that is the sky, air, earth, fire, and water. And these are reflected through various design elements. and they established the perfect harmony of these 5 elements for all the manifestations. Now, this book, comprising of the commemorative postage stamps, is an attempt to showcase to the world the appeal of Lord Ram, or for that matter, the international appeal of Shri Ram on various societies. This is, in fact, a 48-page book that covers the stamps issued by many countries, in fact, more than 20 countries, which includes US, New Zealand, Singapore, Canada, Cambodia, and also institutions like the UN. When we talk of the design of the stamps, then the design of the stamps include essential elements related to Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Mandir, that is the Ram temple. It shows the temple itself, the Mangal Bhavan, Amangal Hari, the sun, the Saryu river, and the sculptures in and around the temple. A closer look at the stamps show that one of the stamps is of the Ram temple. The gold leaf of the sun rays and chopai lend a majestic icon to this sheet, this miniature sheet. And as we told you earlier also, 5 elements have been shown, have been projected, that is sky, air, fire, earth and water. And these are reflected through various design elements, which in fact end up establishing harmony in these 5 elements. The Prime Minister released commemorative postage stamps on the Ram temple and a book of stamps issued on Bhagwan Ram around the world. This comes ahead of the consecration ceremony on January 22nd. And India's Prime Minister also posted a video message on the launch of the stamps on Ram Temple and also the book on stamps issued globally. Let's listen in.
नमस्कार, राम राम। आज श्री राम मंदिर प्राण प्रतिष्ठा अभियान से जुड़े एक और अद्भुत कार्यक्रम से जुड़ने का मुझे सौभाग्य मिला है। आज श्री राम जन्मभूमि मंदिर को समर्पित 6 विशेष स्मारक डाक टिकट जारी किए गए हैं। विश्व के अलग अलग देशों में प्रभु श्री राम से जुड़े जो डाक टिकट पहले जारी हुए हैं, आज उनका एक एल्बम भी रिलीज हुआ है। मैं देश विदेश के सभी राम भक्तों को, सभी देशवासियों को बहुत बधाई देता हूं। साथियों, पोस्टल स्टैम्प का एक कार्य हम सभी जानते हैं। उन्हें लिफाफे पर लगाना, उनकी मदद से अपने पत्र और संदेश या जरूरी कागज भेजना। लेकिन पोस्टल स्टैम्प एक और महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाते हैं। पोस्टल स्टैंप्स विचारों, इतिहास और ऐतिहासिक अवसरों को अगली पीढ़ी तक पहुंचाने का एक माध्यम भी होते हैं। जब आप किसी डाक टिकट को जारी करते हैं और जब कोई इसे किसी को भेजता है तो वह सिर्फ पत्र या सामान नहीं भेजता, वो सहज रूप से इतिहास के किसी अंश को भी किसी दूसरे तक पहुंचा देता है। ये टिकट सिर्फ कागज का टुकड़ा नहीं है, ये टिकट सिर्फ कोई आर्ट वर्क नहीं है, ये इतिहास की किताबों, कलाकृतियों के रूपों और ऐतिहासिक स्थलों का सबसे छोटा रूप भी होते हैं। हम ये भी कह सकते हैं कि एक प्रकार से बड़े बड़े ग्रंथ का, बड़ी बड़ी सोच का एक मिनिएचर फॉर्म होता है। आज जो ये स्मारक डाक टिकट जारी किए गए हैं, उनसे हमारी युवा पीढ़ी को भी बहुत कुछ जानने, सीखने को मिलेगा। मैं अभी देख रहा था कि इन टिकटों में राम मंदिर का भव्य चित्र है, कलात्मक अभिव्यक्ति के जरिए राम भक्ति की भावना है और मंगल भवन अमंगलहारी इस लोकप्रिय चौपाई के माध्यम से राष्ट्र के मंगल की कामना है। इनमें सूर्यवंशी राम के प्रतीक सूर्य की छवि है, जो देश में नए प्रकाश का संदेश भी देता है। इनमें पुण्य नदी सरयू का चित्र भी है, जो राम के आशीर्वाद से देश को सदैव गतिमान रहने का संकेत करती है। मंदिर के आंतरिक वास्तु के सौंदर्य को बड़ी बारीकी से इन डाक टिकटों पर प्रिंट किया गया है। मुझे बताया गया है कि एक प्रकार से पंच तत्व की हमारी जो फिलॉसफी है, इसका एक मिनिएचर रूप प्रभु राम के माध्यम से दर्शाया गया है। इस काम में डाक विभाग को राम जन्मभूमि तीर्थ क्षेत्र ट्रस्ट के साथ साथ संतों का भी मार्गदर्शन मिला है। मैं उन संतों को भी इस योगदान के लिए प्रणाम करता हूं। साथियों, भगवान श्री राम, माता सीता और रामायण की बातें समय, समाज, जाति, धर्म और क्षेत्र की सीमाओं से परे हर एक व्यक्ति से जुड़ी है। सबसे मुश्किल कालखंड में भी त्याग, एकता और साहस दिखाने वाली रामायण, अनेक मुश्किलों में भी प्रेम की जीत सिखाने वाली रामायण पूरी मानवता को खुद से जोड़ती है। यही कारण है कि रामायण पूरे विश्व में आकर्षण का केंद्र रही है। दुनिया के विभिन्न देशों, विभिन्न संस्कृतियों में रामायण को लेकर एक उत्साह रहा है। आज जिन पुस्तकों का लोकार्पण हो रहा है, वो इन्हीं भावनाओं का प्रतिबिंब है कि कैसे पूरे विश्व में भगवान राम, माता सीता और रामायण को बहुत गौरव से देखा जाता है। आज की पीढ़ी के युवाओं के लिए ये देखना बहुत रुचिकर होगा कि कैसे विभिन्न देश श्री राम पर आधारित पोस्टल स्टैंप्स जारी करते रहे हैं। अमेरिका, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, कंबोडिया, कनाडा, चेक रिपब्लिक, फिजी, इंडोनेशिया, श्रीलंका, न्यूजीलैंड, थाईलैंड, गयाना, सिंगापुर, ऐसे कितने ही देशों ने भगवान राम के जीवन प्रसंगों पर बहुत सम्मान के साथ, आत्मीयता के साथ पोस्टल स्टैंप जारी किए हैं। राम किस तरह भारत से बाहर भी उतने ही महान आदर्श हैं। विश्व की तमाम सभ्यताओं पर प्रभु राम का कितना गहरा प्रभाव रहा है, रामायण का कितना गहरा प्रभाव रहा है, और आधुनिक समय में भी अनेक राष्ट्रों ने किस तरह उनके चरित्र की सराहना की है। ये एल्बम इन सब जानकारियों के साथ प्रभु श्री राम और माता जानकी की लीला कथाओं की एक संक्षिप्त सैर भी कराएगी। एक तरह से महर्षि वाल्मीकि का वो आह्वान आज भी अमर है, जिसमें उन्होंने कहा था, यावत् स्थास्यन्ति गिरयः सरितश्च महितले तावत् रामायण कथा लोकेषु प्रचरिष्यति। अर्थात जब तक पृथ्वी पर पर्वत हैं, नदियां हैं, तब तक रामायण की कथा, श्री राम का व्यक्तित्व लोक समूह में प्रचारित होता रहेगा। एक बार फिर आप सभी को, सभी देशवासियों को इन विशेष स्मारक पोस्टल स्टैंप के लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई, धन्यवाद, राम राम।
So that was Prime Minister's video message after the launch of the commemorative postage stamps on the Ayodhya's Ram Temple. This comes just days before the final grand event that will be held on 22nd of January. And the Prime Minister enlisted the importance of these stamps and the edition of Ramayana that was also released. This consists of, the book in fact consists of stamps which includes Ram Temple. It also consists of a devotional song, the sun, the Saryu River, and sculptures in and around the temple. So that's it in this edition of DD India Live. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.